I was on stage and the crowd was dancing to the song I was playing. I had done it. I was a full-time musician, traveling every weekend, getting paid to do what I loved. And I was having a silent panic attack, and not a single person in the venue knew it was happening. I wanted to crawl out of my skin. And technically, nothing was wrong.
1, 2, whoo!
Welcome to Authenticity Lab. I'm Dr. Kelsey Miles, a chemistry professor and also a musician. This is the podcast where we run life experiments because the world tells you that your life is something to fix, but life isn't something to solve, it's something to discover. And so I teach you how to think like a scientist and create like an artist so that you have critical thinking skills and creative insight to build the life that you actually want. Let's go back to that stage moment. When I was having that silent panic attack, I remember feeling so trapped in my skin. And I had played these songs so much that they were second nature to me. While I was playing the song, wanting to jump out of my skin, I took a couple steps over. And that way my ear was literally right in front of the loudspeaker. Like that's all that I could hear was my guitar. And I walked over because I could hear every noise happening in the bar. I remember then taking a set break and going out to my car and doing a short meditation to try to get back to center. I knew something was wrong, but technically nothing was wrong. I came back in, I played my second set, and they asked me to play longer. And I politely declined. I packed up my things and I got out of there as quickly as possible. At the time, I didn't understand what was happening, but now I do. I have ADHD. And in that moment, I was completely overstimulated by the crowd and the environment. And for years, alcohol had done its job that I didn't even realize it was doing. It was numbing my experiences. And when I stopped drinking, I felt everything. And this feeling of being trapped in something you dreamt of, I think happens a lot more than we ever talk about. You may have had a time in your life where you really wanted a certain job, or you worked really hard for this dream house or relationship. And then all of a sudden you feel trapped in that decision, the one that you were so sure about. And what do we do when we feel trapped? We usually double down because it was a decision we made, and we hustle harder and we try to make something that no longer works for us. We try to make it work. You tell yourself it's just a bad day because you know that leaving feels like failure. But to trust yourself after a decision and stopping when it's not working anymore, that's a real skill. And there's something that comes before you can do that. It's not that you can't see it or feel when it's not working. It's really what you do the moment you notice. When I was in my car during the set break, meditating, trying to get back to center, that was not just a bad day or a bad gig. That was information. My body knew well before my brain knew that this wasn't working for me anymore. My silent panic attack was not normal for me. Something wasn't quite right, and I knew something needed to change. So I listened, and I started to make some different choices. To calibrate means to pay attention to the signal, not to override it. And here's what we don't talk enough about. When the dream you have makes you feel trapped, we often don't say anything because we told everyone around us how much we wanted it. And we would sound ungrateful if we didn't like it anymore. My dream of a full-time musician, I hit it and I felt trapped. But the key is that listening to that trapped signal didn't mean I had to quit music. I needed a different room. And I did just that. I found a blues residency here in Kansas City, and it's so much fun to play at. Every other week, I get to be in a room of people who love original live music with good food, good company. I don't have to manage my nervous system. I get to do what I love. I get to play music. And that's what happens when you actually listen to your signal instead of suppressing it. You're essentially optimizing your dream to fit what really works for you. So if something in your life feels off, don't just override it. Listen to the signal, get curious, and you can ask yourself, what is something your body is telling you that your brain is trying to explain away? I'd love to know if a dream of yours has come true and then you ended up feeling trapped in it. What'd you do? Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Authenticity Lab. Life isn't something to solve, it's something to discover. So be bold, be curious, be you. I'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah, that house will always call you.